Hey, y'all.
All right. So today we're going to do something, and we're going to go somewhere where very few people have ventured to go, and we are about to enter into the mind of a Christian. Right? Are y'all ready? Because let me tell you, it's going to be a roller coaster. You don't have to take my word for it. Take Tasha's. Okay.
I'm sorry, before we even
Yeah,
start,
you go ahead,
I'm
say
so
something.
sorry. So there were two songs that they just sang, and I know the first one was a little bit faster than the other one, and the other one was a little bit slower. But it's amazing how we're singing about God, I need you, and I want you to come in. I get a message through Facebook. And I wasn't in my phone because I wasn't paying attention. I was in my phone because somebody messaged me about their relationship and about their marriage. And I take those things very, very serious. And so in our reality, the concept behind this evening, I pray for everybody that's supposed to be here, and everybody that was not supposed to be here don't come. Everybody that's supposed to watch on live, I pray for that. And everybody that's not supposed to watch, don't make it available. Don't even send them a notification. But please keep people in your prayers, because the people are going through some serious stuff. And so this whole concept behind Stay Afloat, and we're going to dig into some stuff. It's legitimate. It's not a game. It's not something to be cute and make money. Trust me, I've given out more books than I've sold by far, because people are really going through some serious stuff. And we all are simply just trying to stay afloat. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So you answered like a couple questions already. No, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. So I got questions written down, but this is really just a conversation that we have quite often. I just got questions to keep us on track.
Right.
So we can get off. So welcome to our conversation. All right. So I just want to start off, and I don't want to assume that everybody in here knows who you are. So to start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself, or a lot bit about yourself.
The good stuff or the bad stuff?
Yeah, let's get off.
I was born down here in Alton, but of course relationships, my parents, they split up. I moved from Alton to East St. Louis, from East St. Louis to Chicago, from Chicago to Gary, Indiana, from Gary, Indiana to Iowa, from Iowa back down here. I've been here now 11 years, and I'm simply just trying to figure out who I am at the same time. I mean, I can't necessarily say I have a definitive answer as to who I am. I'm ever evolving, trying to figure out who I am, not just for people, but who I am in God. And so it's kind of tricky, because the guy that I used to have fun with, that guy, he still want to come out sometimes. So yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, we're going to keep it moving. Did y'all learn something now? It's probably a little bit even all over the place, it's basically. So did you ever think that you would be an author?
No, not necessarily. I would do a lot of different writings because, like I said, moving from down here up to then Chicago, which is where I was for the longest, you have family, but the family dynamics are totally different when you're not with your biological family. And so in order for me to get my point across, the only thing that understood me was a pen and paper. But it came out through rapping, it came out through poetry. And then it gradually turned into me writing structured sentences, so to speak, to kind of get a full thought across. But I never really thought until 2016, after doing the Martin Luther King event, that I was going to actually write a book. But it changed. It totally transformed and changed itself, because I was writing something else. But when I went to Dallas, Texas for a leadership event, I got to meet, his name is Antar Muhammad, and I bought his book called Hardcore. And my question was, when I saw the book, I told him, I said, as soon as you get some more available, I'm buying mine, trust me, I'm definitely buying it. He said, don't worry, I got you covered, and he pulled the book out and signed it. And what I thought I needed to write was this big, his book was only that big. And I was shocked, and I said, from all the people, you follow T.D. Jakes, you're with him all the time doing all these things, and you don't have a 300, 400 page book. You got a few pages. I don't need to make a whole bunch as far as quantity. I just had to figure out how to put in the quality. But I never knew that I would be an author, by no means.
Okay. And I just want to say this too. We haven't discussed these questions, So as you all are hearing him, so is he. So I don't want y'all to think that he's had time to rehearse his answers, because he hasn't. So y'all getting the real deal tonight, okay? All right.
Jesus.
All right, so off of that, because I don't have this one written down, but it was based off of what you said. When did you realize that words have power?
Oh my God. I was at Buckmaster Church of Christ about maybe now 7, 8 years ago. And this woman, she came in and she stood out. Trust me, she stood out from everybody in the room because everybody in the room was black. But she wasn't. And she asked me a question, and I'm about as crazy as I don't know what. And she said, "Do you know why I'm here?" And I'm like, "For Jesus, right?" She was like, "Well, yeah, but I'm here to see you. Your words are impactful." Words are, I was just preaching. I mean, it's something I heard all the time. I was doing what I did, and lo and behold, she was the first one really that told me that my words were powerful, and she's actually sitting right there on that row. Mama Johnny, of course. But yeah, I didn't know that my words, I knew words were powerful because I knew what people were saying to me and about me that would hurt me. That stuff I knew. But I never knew how powerful my words could be as to affecting anybody on any level, rather positive or negative, until somebody came and told me. The weird thought is it's kind of like everybody else gets to see what and who you are before you ever do. And she definitely saw it before I ever did, because even to this day, I'm still thrown off that my words, so to speak, have power.
Okay. So you got Mama Johnny.
Mama Johnny.
That saw something in you that you didn't see. Who were your other mentors? Who else pushed you up? Who else do you look up to?
Now this is going to be a really weird answer because it's not people that actually love me. It's actually people that gave me hell. People who I knew for a fact really weren't concerned as to what I was doing, where I was going, but they just had for some odd reason, the reason to be almost like a thorn in my side. Those were the ones that really helped me grow the most, to be better, to be different, to be more. Actually, I was on the phone last night. I had just put up a message on Facebook and said, "All right, I think it's time to go to bed." Right when I put that up on Facebook, somebody sent me a message and said, "Pray for me. I need you to pray for me," and all of that. So, "What do you need to talk?" We ended up talking. And she asked me a question. My wife, she woke up in the middle of the night and saw me on the phone, so this ain't just some random stuff for the day. On the phone, she asked me a question. She said, "I see all of this stuff you're doing and you preaching. I'm very proud of you, bro. You're doing good." She said, "Where did your anger go?" She said, "Where did your anger go?" And I was stunned because honestly, I didn't know where my anger went until she asked me. Now I forgot the question. That just said me all over.
Who else were your mentors? Who else pushed you, motivated you? My
adjutants, by all means, my adjutants. I learned that the people who knew the button for anger, how to push that, they don't really want to push the button anymore because it doesn't have the label of anger. It now has the label of love. And so you can say whatever you want about me. It's none of my business. I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, I am who I am. And while you trying to make up your mind about me, God is only making up his mind about me. So I don't have to be consumed by whether you like me or not. My life does not evolve around a like button. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Now, things do affect me, yes. But through anger, no, I won't even give you the satisfaction to know that you made me mad. Nor do you even want the consequences or repercussions of me being mad.
See, this is what I mean. Welcome to the mind correction. All right, so we know how you've been motivated and who has helped you, but who has inspired you to write the most? I kind of flipped it on you a little bit.
You want biblical or you want?
I want whatever you're going to give us.
Y'all want the truth?
Yeah, we don't want no lies. You're supposed to be, we up here being transparent and authentic.
Yeah, but these answers I might have to give, we might have to be at the Knights of Columbus Hall.
You just give it to us. Yeah. This your mind. This is who inspired you.
Ask me one more time.
Who inspired you to write?
The people that made me angry.
Who? You got other people other than the ones that made you angry as well, that has inspired your writing?
Well, the beginning was people who made me angry.
Okay, so now.
That's the beginning. Now it's people who pay attention to different things. People who can grow with me. People who can feel my rhythm. And everything, I don't care. I mean, if you think about rhythm in any aspect, especially music, there's certain aspects to rhythm that you know people that are offbeat with you. And people that are offbeat with you, you kind of have to move away. But people who are in rhythm with me, I can pay attention to them and I'll see something, or they'll say something, and it'll kind of click to where I'll think about something I need to write for later on. I'll give you all this. 3:25 was hitting, and I was sitting on the front row. And I knew people loved me. I'm not worried about that. I knew people loved me. But I knew God loved me. And I said, God, if you love me, why you let this weather change like that? Lord have mercy. And in my mind, knowing that there's people that love me and God loves me, a question that popped into my head was, are you worth the rain? Are you worth the rain? And it provoked a lot of different things in me, but those are some of the things that make me want to write. It's not necessarily people, it's often moments. It's moments. It doesn't have to be the biggest moment in the world. It can be something as simple as, we just had a funeral this past week, and or the prior week actually, Mother Fairfax. And that funeral spoken volumes to me, not because of the people that were here, but the person that was in the casket. Because it showed me a transition in times, not just from her passing on, but even her name. There was a time and day that faxing was normal. Faxing was fair. It made sense to send a fax, but then we got email. Then we got all these other fast ways of sending stuff. And it lets me know that the same way that we used to fax things, times change. And she was a symbol to me in my mind as to how time is changing. So I learned to write from whatever is around me in that moment, but it has to be something that is in rhythm to whatever God got going on.
So some of y'all might be asking, when we gonna get to questions about the book, right? We not. Y'all gotta buy the book to see what's in the book. All right, how about that? But don't worry, we're gonna get to a couple things in there because we're gonna dangle something in front of you. But right now, we just need to know the author. I might need to open up for a question from the audience. Anybody, y'all got a question? Don't ask right now. I just want to know if anybody has one. Oh, we got one. Okay. So we're going to keep going. And then you want to ask it now? No? Do you have a question? Because you ain't going to ask it? Okay.
I mean, I
write it down and send it up. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, yeah, no, too late. I'm going to ask it now. Okay, so what made you pick, like, out of all the movies that do have something about, staying afloat, what made you pick that movie?
That's why I opened it up. Because y'all think about stuff I don't even think about. Anyway.
The reason why I chose that is because, and this is part of the conversation that I had with someone on the phone last night, too many people put family on a pedestal. And they will have fun with you, they will roll you all around the whole entire skating rink, and then they'll let you go. And while you're saying we, they're hoping for your end to come. So the little girl gets to the ice. She starts to fall into the ice. The person that threw her to the ice comes over as if he's reaching for help. I'm tired of all of these people who are reaching their hand out to people, who are supposedly reaching their hand out to them, who are not there to help you, they're only there to hurt you. While the person that is trying to get to you and help you, the crowd is holding them back. And it frustrates me that everywhere, every day, I don't care if you're black, white, blue, green, hibba-jibbanese, cute, stupid, ugly, don't matter to me. Everybody's going through something to where they're reaching their hand out, they're asking for help, and you can touch the fingertips. They're touching fingertips. So if I can touch your fingertip, I can eventually get another grip. There's layers to your hand. If everybody looks at their hand, there's layers to it. There's levels to it. It's not just a flat, straight palm. You have a front grip, you have a mid grip, you have a lower grip, and you have a full grip. He could have easily grabbed her by the tip grip and gradually moved on. But he wasn't trying to help her. He was trying to hurt her by all means. And I wish more people would learn that if you cannot help, please don't hurt. Please don't hurt.
I was trying to think of stuff I did right now, right? was, and you probably answered it in that, but we're gonna find out. So what was the inspiration behind the book? Like, what was missing that made you want to put your voice on it?
With all due love and respect to those who are over the age of 40, I believe the people between the ages of 20 and 40 are being overlooked. And the reason I say that is because when we look at some of the news that's happening and what's going on, you see a lot of people 20 and under who are dying. With all due respect, I'm not saying this to be rude, you expect people above the ages of 50, 60 to start almost, in a sense, going towards the end of their life. So the people between the age of relatively 20 to 40, 20 to 50 almost are in a paradox, because once you make it to a certain point, what do you do now? Some of those same people who at one point were on a frontier, they never realized that their boat crashed, and they're no longer on a frontier, they're on a stranded island like Gilligan, and what was once a cool thing turned into a front porch. And the problem that many people have is they think they're staying afloat because they left home, not realizing you just crash landed at another place.
All right.
It's time for you to get up and start moving again. It's time for you to start doing something again. And you have to ask yourself, are you living on purpose or are you living purposeless? Because it's one thing for you to be moving in a certain direction, and it's another thing to maintain it. It's not the same thing. And some people believe just because they're existing that they're moving, and you're not. You're just maintaining. A janitor and a CEO both clean up messes. They just clean up messes on different levels. So some people think because they're cleaning up the mess that they need to be wearing a suit picking up trash, and that's not the case. Because you're cleaning up a totally different kind of mess. And I think that there are some people who think they're staying afloat, but they're floating lackadaisical. And they are what I call in the book an unidentified floating object. You're just a UFO. Instead of you being up there, you're down there.
I don't even know what to say, y'all. Y'all had to excuse me. He know he shouldn't ask. No. Where we go from there? I don't know. So would you say, what day you talked about those that are between 20 and 40 go overlooked? So would you say, did you write the book for them, or was it written to everybody?
It's written for everybody, but honestly, me thinking of 20 to 40 is where my mind was. I'm not saying it's not for anybody at all. It's for everybody. I mean, it's even for children who are in school, because the sooner we can stir your mind to ask you where do you want to go and keep you stimulated on that, we can hopefully keep you on track to some degree. But also understand this is also in the book I'm giving this, there's something called geodesic lines. Geodesic lines are what they use. I know, right? Geodesic lines are what they use on like highways. You ever notice how you get on a highway and it doesn't go straight? That's because it's forming according to the natural curve of the earth. Your life has a natural curve according to God's expectation. That's the reason why if you go straight, typically those people who are on a straight line, they die faster. But the people who are living according to the curves, you think about life. You have mountaintops and then you have valleys. You have mountaintops and then you have valleys. You have highs, you have lows. You have good, you have bad.
Right.
And so if we can get those 20 to 40-year-olds to kind of see something that again came from that funeral of Mother Fairfax, we are getting ready to go soon. Within, hopefully I can live to see it. We will soon no longer have people on this earth who touched somebody who was in slavery. Catch that.
Yep.
Soon we will no longer have people on this earth who touched a person in slavery.
All right.
So that means there's gonna be this desensitization as to what the history means, and they're gonna miss out on the history, and they may repeat it, because guess who the new slave master is? It's the telephone. If you leave your house without your phone, you're gonna turn around. Oh, that's perfectly fine. You're gonna turn around, you're gonna go get your phone. And then if you don't have your phone and you get to where you're going, the first thing you say is, "Ooh, I feel naked." Your phone.
We sure do say that.
I ain't no clothes for you.
Yeah. And now I'm fully clothed.
Some people overdress. No, I don't want them to underdress now. But we typically have what we need mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. But there are just some of those things that we add to it that could be destructive if we don't have proper moderation. And right now, we are seeing a generation that it may eventually see no longer people that picked cotton. People that know how to cook beans properly.
Amen.
You know, just certain, it's just certain things that people should know, but there's going to be a time to where they will never, it will only be possibly in a picture that they can say, ooh, I remember he told me that his grandfather or his great-grandfather did this. But those people will be gone. And then they'll have us, who all we know is the one that touched it. But we still don't really know ourselves. So it's almost like we're in a paradox. And so when I started talking about staying afloat, I'm talking about staying afloat not because of what everybody else was going through. I'm talking about staying afloat because of what I was going through. That's the bigger part of it. Because for some odd reason, I don't know why he lets me. It's almost like God will let me see certain things that I don't think I'm qualified to see. I don't have a degree in understanding anything. But he lets me see things that I don't think I deserve. And so stay afloat really was for myself. And I said, you know what, ain't no point in me being stingy. I may as well share with everybody else.
All right.
That's good. So, I gotta see how I'm gonna say this. I do, because I was about to say why stay afloat, but this just don't even have to ask that question.
No.
You said you wrote it. It was for you, and you sharing with everybody else. Can you share something that God allowed you to stay afloat through? Just one thing, because you gotta get the book for some of them.
I'll go something I didn't even put in the book,
There we go.
and I've never really shared this with anybody. Early on in me and my wife's relationship when we were dating, her sister, who had lupus and 2-type blood disease, that was their core, that was their rock, that was their everything. And I'm like, okay, God, I know something's gonna happen, but you gotta make me better and make me stronger. Because if that person's not here anymore, ask me the question one more time because I almost got distracted.
What has God allowed you to stay afloat through in?
I said, God, if you're going to do it, you got to help me out. And lo and behold, phone call, and she's in the hospital. And I can say it now because we're so far on this end of it. I knew she was about to go. I was in the room that morning. It was me, my mother-in-law's sister Gwinnell, and my wife. We were in that room. We were at All Memorial. We walked in the hallway. I think she was in the room on the right, the first room or so. And in that room, and normally I don't talk, I don't say anything. I'll keep quiet and I'll just observe. But in this moment, immediately I got up and said, let's pray. So we prayed, and eventually they took her up. And the way that the whole thing happened, and I won't go into that, but the way the whole thing happened, it's almost as if gradually, slowly but surely, he was strengthening me and preparing me for everybody's weakness. But this is how I know, and this is how I know that there's so much more. Typically, whenever you go to the hospital and someone is on the verge of passing, you get to deal with the level of pain of everyone one by one. There was about 25 to 30 people who saw her die that day. When she coded, there was about 25 to 30 people, not just in any room, in the ICU, who watched the doctors rush in and somebody jump on top of her. We all witnessed this, and I'm like, God, really? Seriously? I asked you to make me strong for her. I never thought that I was going to have to be strong for her and all these other people in this room. Which makes sense why I'm a minister. Which makes sense why I'm a preacher. Which makes sense why people call me a pastor or reverend, whatever else they call me, is because eventually my responsibility will be bigger than just one. But he was preparing me for whatever's going to happen later on.
And the reason I asked you that question is because as a preacher, a lot of things that God has us preach is things that we have to go through ourselves. The messages that we bring across the pulpit aren't things that we just read and talk about, but it's things that God takes us through. And we go through it sometimes multiple times before we even bring it through. And some things we don't even want to talk about because it takes us back to that place. And the same thing with an author. especially with this book, because it's something, and you tapped on it already, it's something that you had to go through. So, saying that to say that when you purchase this book and you read it, know that this is not just words that he's saying, but it's something that he's already had to live. And it's coming from a different place. Because some writers write from their head, but he's writing from his heart.
Amen.
I didn't come to say all that. I'm supposed to be asking questions.
That's good. That's good because honestly, a lot of people, they want to do something just because they saw somebody else do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to be pastors of churches because they saw somebody else do it.
Yeah. Man.
A lot of people want to get up and sing because they saw somebody else do it. A lot of people want to write a book because somebody else did. And so we got a lot of imitators, and they don't realize that you need to stop imitating, because the only one you're acting like is a devil, and you show not acting like God, because God is the creator. He's not an imitator. But the devil is an imitator. So when you're imitating on the purpose of just fulfilling your own pockets and making yourself fat, you really are a devil.
You gonna stop like that?
Man,
I wait on some more. I don't even want to ask the other question. Hold on, let me figure out something, y'all. Oh, I got one. So I'm gonna give y'all a little tip of what's in the book. Okay. Now it's called Stay Afloat. Now I'm gonna ask y'all. This is for y'all. When you think of Stay Afloat, what comes to mind?
Drown.
That's what I think for. Well, I had a whole bunch of good answers. I'm not saying nobody gonna say what I thought. Okay, never mind. But both, yes, and surviving, water, all that good stuff. In your book, you mentioned several different types of ships. And first of all, I couldn't have thought of half of them. And you thought of 7. Okay. So what I want to know.
that was the short list.
That was the short list, because I still can't add to it. Ain't that mess?
It was about 50 of them.
It was 50.
My goal was to do a 30-day walk of different ships and have a ship of the day,
Wow.
which is still a work in
You should do
progress.
that, because I could, these 7 that you got in here, I couldn't even come with that, so let alone 50, so I got to figure out 43 more. So what was the determining factor or the process of getting it down to just those 7 to put in this book?
Is it obvious that she didn't ask me these questions before?
I didn't want him to think about it.
Most of those ships that are in there are the ones that affected me the most. There are ones that, if I was to be honest, there are ones that still affect me a bit, but I'm over it. If I was to give one of the ships is ownership. Nobody in my family has.
Y'all didn't even think about that kind of shit, did y'all? See, that's why I was trying to lead him out. Go ahead, keep going, ownership.
One of the ships was ownership. And I'm the first one in my family, basically, to purchase a home on my side. And in doing that, I didn't have anybody that I can go and talk to about it. But I did have a moment to where we were close, but something happened. And I was able to connect why they never went after it again to something that happened to me as a child, which I learned from their not going after it again, why I should always go after it regardless. Just because someone else couldn't doesn't mean I shouldn't. Just because someone else did doesn't mean I should do. But in that ownership piece, I learned something exponentially, that if I'm supposed to have it, why should I leave behind something God has for me because I'm afraid of getting hurt?
Amen.
A lot of people have left treasures. You know the most richest place in the world right now?
Cemetery.
The cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
The richest place in the world is the cemetery. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a big cemetery. It could be 5 bodies. Rich. Because there are so many things that those people didn't do. There are so many books not written. There are so many thoughts that have never been revealed. There are so many dreams that have never been fulfilled. There is so much left over. And so in thinking of those ships, those were the ones that affected me the most. And Lord knows I refuse to be an old man sitting on the edge of the bed saying what I wish I would have, could have, and should have. I'm my own mind.
All right.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, woo. What we at on time? I can't see the clock.
5:15.
It's 5:15.
5:15.
5:09.
Okay.
They got different
I
things.
just want to say what we did.
15 more time.
Went until 5:09.
Okay, I got one more question. I got two more questions. Y'all good?
We're good.
Y'all ready to go?
Yeah,
No.
we're good.
Okay. I'm making sure, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, cause I only got two more questions. Now, how the answer gonna go, I can't tell you that. But it was something you just said, when you talked about dreams. Now, in the book, we at the end though, I'm gonna ask y'all if y'all got another question. So if y'all got a question, think about it right now, I'm gonna come back to you. Row, row, row your boat, gently down the stream. Merry, 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 life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Now, in the book, you tapped into the row your boat. I want you to tap into the life is but a dream.
We'll go church. We'll go church. We'll go church.
I had to read the book ahead of time, but I know the answer, right? Okay.
We'll go church. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Life is but a dream. It's only a dream until you tap into the one that can make dreams come true.
Amen.
There you go.
And many people go to sleep and all they do is dream. And dreams are wonderful because they're just beginning movie screens that you have while you're asleep. But if you think about everybody who had a dream in the Bible, after they dreamed, they did what? It manifested. When Joseph had his when Joseph had his dream about the sheaves, it didn't happen in that moment. It happened later on, but he had a dream, and the dream came to fruition. When Joseph, the father of Jesus, when he had a dream about stay with the woman, it's okay, it's all right, it sounds crazy, but I got you covered. When he woke up, the dream came to fruition. Life is but a dream only until you are willing to row your boat.
All right.
And too many people, the reason why they never get to manifesting the dream is because they're not rowing their own boat. They know everybody else's business. They know everybody else's house. They know everybody else's husband. They know everybody else's wife. But they don't know their own stuff. It amazes me the people who want to sit and tell me, and I find it funny because I didn't even think I was important for someone to have an attitude about it. You're supposed to be a man of God, a preacher. What you doing writing a book? No, I laughed because the last time I heard that, one of the people who I love dearly, T.D. Jakes, he was asked that question. And I said, I'm one of those now?
You better say that.
You said that to me?
He made it, y'all.
Because my thought is, like the same thing T.D. Jakes said, please don't put a period where God put a comma. So many people want to tell you what you are and who you are, but they themselves don't even know who they are or what they're doing. And how dare you have the audacity to think that you can live vicariously through me and you want me to live the same way you do? This is one of the reasons why the other church that I was at before I came to Tabernacle, they wanted me to have this guy as my mentor. And I said, no. They said, well, everybody goes under him. And I said, you see where everybody is now? Why should I follow you where you've never been where I'm ready to go?
Right.
Because you're good at rowing everybody else's boat, but you can't row yours. And so to this very day, a 60, 70-year-old man says life is but a dream. I want to sit with my kids and say, I remember when I used to dream.
All right.
And they get to touch the thing that I dreamed about. That's what that means in there. That's what that means.
That is good. I mean, I wrote something down. Because I wanted to see what was in his, like I said, we going So, because when I looked at it, life is but a dream, I saw that. But I also saw the fact that, what you said as well, dreams we have when we sleep. And dreams are typically momentary. They just happen for that moment and then it's over. Now, you might be able to dream it again and again, but still, it only happens for that moment. So when I think about life is but a dream, life is only a moment. So you have to be able to achieve and go after those things that are given to you or those things that you want. And he said, make your dreams the reality. So in that essence, when you have a dream and you wake up, it's over. So in life, when you wake up or when you go to sleep for that matter, it's over. So you got to think about what are you going to do with your life? Because this is Reggie's first book. And I'm going somewhere with it. It's his first book. And for him to put that at the end of the book, it's one more thing that he puts at the end of the book. And it's the beginning. People usually end the book with the end. Or it stops. And you wait for the sequel. If you're going to get one, because you usually like, what happens next? I want to know how it keeps going. But he ends it with the beginning. So in this, and knowing that life is but a dream and seizing every moment, why did you put the beginning? And this the only thing we're going to really just give away from the book. Well, we kind of gave some other stuff. But anyway, the beginning. The beginning. What was the thought behind that?
Okay. So, my first thought when I was doing that, first and foremost, I struggled with the end. I struggled for maybe 3 months with the end. And I learned the reason why I struggled with the end is because it's not supposed to end. So I put the beginning. What I didn't realize is that the beginning, after I finished writing this book and I put the beginning, I didn't realize that I was going to have to try and stay afloat all over again.
Come on, tell it.
I didn't know I was going to have to try and stay afloat again. When me and Tasha got together, yeah, we lived together before we got married. Y'all can talk to me later. Don't send me no letters or nothing. I don't care.
No, I take it.
We had one car, and it was her car, so she had one car, and I had 2 legs.
All right.
So, glory to God, I had 2 legs. When she had to go to work, she drove. When I had to go to work, I walked. And I was fine with that. I was fine. That kind of staying afloat was my norm. We started to get more to a certain degree as far as business and got better and all of that stuff. And we got 2 cars, and that was fine. And then kept on progressing. Lo and behold, glory to God, now we're in a house, and we've been there now 4 years in this home, and we love it. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I set to release the book January 22nd, I believe. And I was excited. It was fun. It was like, yeah, I finally got this done. February 1st around 10 a.m., I got fired from my job.
Ooh.
And so, in that moment, honestly, I was fine. I didn't have a worry in the world. I knew that everything was going to be. I knew everything was going to be okay so much that I've never cried a tear for it. My wife cried a tear before I ever even thought about a tear. And I understood her tears because yes, I'm the man of the house. I'm supposed to provide, and she knows that I will. And I'll do whatever. But what's funny is I was so not worried that Friday when I got fired that Saturday I already had a job and went in on Monday. But that's one part of it. And the person who did it is in this room. He ain't in this room. But we work with one of the people that's in this room and love her to death. Love her to death. God bless me with a new friend. I love friends. But what I also didn't realize what he was going to do. This is why you got to make sure that you don't give up, don't give out, and don't give in to anybody but God. Is because right when I lost the job that I was making the money that I was making, I went to another job making less money. I got a check in the mail to pay off my car. Wow. Not a loan from somebody. Not a loan from anybody. I got a check in the mail to pay off my car.
True story.
After paying off my car, I had enough money because I was talking to Pastor Buford about doing this. And we at first said the second Sunday of March. I was happy about it, but then I said, whoa, Jesus, I got to get the money together. I ain't got no money for this event yet. So we moved it to this day. Right after that, I got another check in the mail to take care of her birthday. That's why we went to Chicago last weekend and was able to have extra over. When you put your faith in God and you're not worried about nothing else, and you're not controlled by what man can do, and you are really living on faith, you don't have to worry about anything. How is it that he can clothe the lilies and he can make roses bloom and he makes sure they get all the rain that they need? They get everything they need. You telling me birds in the air find food no matter where they go, but me, a child of God, I need to be worried or concerned? You got to be kidding me. Devil, get out of my face. I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. I just don't. And so it kills me that sometimes we sit in these cathedrals called churches and we hear all of this faithless talk.
That's just what it is.
Surrounded by faithful people, supposedly, with faithless talk. Don't talk to me if you're not talking about what God can do. I don't know what he can't do, but I know what he can do. And so all you're talking about is what the world is doing. I don't care what you're talking about. Because here's what kills me about, I don't care who they are, pastors, preachers, teachers, sinners, saints, whatever. How can you sit and you condemn the world because you go to church? But last time I checked, God said he loved the world.
Yes, he did.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the Bible verse that says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever shall believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So I'm not here to condemn anything or anybody. That's not my job, not my responsibility. But I know for a fact that when something's going on in my life, rather hell or high water, I am protected in the beloved. You're not going to sit and give me a scripture like Jeremiah where he says, but when I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Hold on, pause. You knew me that long? I've known you and I've ordained you before the foundation of the world. You telling me that you've known me longer than my mother knew that she had me in her womb? So that let me know that I don't have to worry about the Reggie that I am, because there's a Reggie that exists in Christ Jesus that I've never met before. So I need to be chasing Jesus because he has the mystery as to who I am. So if you fire me, I'm fine with it. You ain't got enough money for my worth anyways. How is it we say these songs, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. The problem people have is they're saying give us this day our daily bread, trying to save the bread from today to use the same bread for tomorrow, not realizing that it says give us this day our daily bread. So why am I worried about tomorrow? Tomorrow has its own problems. So I said the beginning to help me understand that I don't care what it is, at the end of everything, there is always simply a beginning. So then I guess the question is to everybody else that wrote a book and put the end. Why? Why? Is it because everybody else put the end? I'm not ending nothing. This is simply the beginning.
All right. I might not understand after I'm serious. Woo! You done?
I'm just
still got someone to say?
No,
Say it.
It's really, look, I know it's not a whole lot of people in this room, but it's more than enough people in this room. Because every single person in this room touches at least 100 a day. So right now in this moment, really, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of people. Because every person that you talk to, I'm talking to through you. So what I want to say to everybody in this room, don't let your family, don't let your friends, don't let these fake Christians, just because they come to church, put a good hat on and an outfit, does not solidify them as people of God. You have to know who you are in Christ Jesus. And the only way to know that is by building the relationship that you have with God. I don't care if I'm preaching in the pulpit, she preaching in the pulpit, or Pastor Buford preaching in the pulpit. After you walk out that door, if you don't have a relationship with him, everything we said don't matter. So we really, in our reality, and I'll give you this. Staying afloat doesn't have to be scary.
My God.
It doesn't have to be scary. You ever gotten in the water and was actually able to just lay on your back and not be afraid of the water coming so close up on your face, but just know that you're okay?
All right.
But here's the problem that we all have. You feel a little bit of splash of water get to your nose and you panic. And if you would stop panicking and realize That water is meant to lift you up
All
and not
right.
pull you down.
All right.
How do you know that? At the very beginning of the Bible, we have in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was dark and void. And then it says, the Spirit of the Lord moved over the face of the waters. So how is it, if I have the Spirit of God in me, and the Spirit of God has been there, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, why am I afraid of drowning?
That's scientific. It's
If the Holy Spirit is within me, and don't get me wrong, I know somebody like, but you still can drown if you get in the water.
You gotta relax.
What I'm talking about is spiritual.
Gotta relax.
You really do, no, but you really do have to relax. You really do have to relax. Because the thing is this, I believe Jesus said, who can add anything to their life?
My Lord.
No one. So what are you panicking for? What are you saving? Nothing. So when I say stay afloat, I'm simply saying, relax.
Amen.
Just relax.
Amen.
Don't be so uptight. Because whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't matter. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I think really church has done a bad job because if we did better with church, more people wouldn't be terrified of dying.
True.
Amen.
They wouldn't be so scared. I mean, I'll be honest. I read and study it. The biggest reason why I do fear death is not because of death itself, but it's missing out on seeing my kids have kids. Missing out on having the opportunity of me and my wife being the only ones in the house.
Amen.
Amen. I want to see those days. I want to see the days that my kids are coming to the house, but they only come in to visit. And then they go to their house.
Hey.
That's a blessing to me. I want to reach. I press towards the mark of the high call of Jesus.
Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy.
But simply stay afloat is saying, it's saying relax, but it's asking you certain questions to help you realize why staying afloat hasn't been as fun as you wanted it to be. It's asking you about those different ships. Because in there, I'm also asking you, do you even know what ship you're on? Or have you been on one ship assuming that it was another?
Come on now.
And some people have done that. At the very beginning of one of the ships, it starts with a B, you'll figure it out when you read it. I basically say no one stumbles on certain ships. But there are certain ships that you can stumble upon too because they hide something. And so staying afloat really is saying, it's asking different questions and making you think about different things in your own life as to, do you need to maybe get off the ship you're on and get on another one? They do have transfers, in case people didn't know. You can transfer. Same with the bus line, same with the train. You can transfer ships. You can get off at the next port and get ready for the next one, and you can go visit the little shop while you're there. And another one will be coming along the way. But sometimes we stay in what we're in because we know what we're going to get. But why stay stuck in one thing because you know what you're going to get when you have a vast ocean of possibilities waiting for you to go out and grab the next thing?
Amen. Well, I don't have any more questions. This has been a great conversation. I'm going to ask you all if you may have, if something came up with you and you might want to ask another question. Anybody? If not, okay.
I have no question, but
Where I'm at in the book.
I have no question, but now I have seen visions, right? And I don't know if people believe in visions. I was born with a veil on my face, but I seen you sitting right there on Steve Harvey show.
Whoa.
Well,
Well, we gonna say Steve.
I'm telling you what I just seen.
Actually, I mailed him the book.
I'm telling you what I just
all
seen.
right.
He's going to read it.
Amen.
He will.
I receive it. I receive it. I receive it.
See, I'll be looking out.
As long as on the fourth Sunday when I got to preach to Pastor Buford, they're going to let me go.
Amen. Amen. That's right.
All right. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. I know I have.
I enjoy the book. Get the book.
Yes, get the book.
Get the book.
The books are $15 for the book. there are still bags available with the book and gifts for 20. There's a table, as soon as you go out that door, straight back. If you has already purchased the book and you would like it signed by the author, he will be available to sign the books for you as well.
I got a question.
You wanna tell them online where to get it from?
Is it when everybody's gone out of the house, but you and the wife, is that when you become a yacht?
That's a good one.
He either reading the book or read the book. That's what I look forward to. Yes, indeed. I look forward to that. I look forward to it.
That got stuck with me.
You live in your yacht life right now?
Yeah, man.
That's where I want to get to. I want to get to the yacht life. Yes. God, yes. For those that don't know what you're talking about, get the book and read the book.
Right, don't just flip for that part.
What do you got?
I don't have any more questions. You got anything you want to?
I just want to say thank you all for coming out. I really do appreciate it, definitely. I'm kind of upset with one of my daughters. My first daughter, she did very good. I'm not upset with her today. My second daughter back then, you made me cry. You wasn't supposed to do that. But I love my mama. Thank you. Thank you for coming out here. Thank you everybody for coming out here. Also, thank you, because you know I'm better. Also, if we leave, well, I'll have books. I'll definitely have books. I'll always have books, plain and simple. But if you aren't near me, aren't around me, whatever, want to get a book, you can definitely get them online on Amazon.com. I was just told that when you type in "Stay Afloat," I'm the first recognition when you type it in. So something's going good so far. But you can definitely get it there, or you can come to Tabernacle and get it here, because we sure gonna have some of these books. Yes, indeed.
And let me encourage you to just piggyback. If you do purchase it, and this is for people watching too, if you do purchase it online, please leave a comment. Talk about the book so that he gets recognized for it, and so that the book gets more momentum. Because we are believing God is going to do something that blows your mind with this.
Amen.
And because it's not written, it wasn't just for you, it's for others. So we want to make sure that everybody gets encouraged, and the only way the best way to do that is word of mouth. So if you would, even if you already have the book, I believe you can still probably go and leave a comment or something on there to talk about it. So let's just keep him encouraged and encourage others to purchase the book as well, because again, it's not just from his mind, it's from his heart, and all of us need to know how to stay.
Thank y'all for coming. God bless.